The Shepherd's Courage. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the golden sun kissed the land, a little princess named Elara lived in a grand castle nestled between emerald forests and sparkling rivers. Her father, King Aldric, ruled the kingdom with wisdom, and the people loved him dearly. But despite her luxurious life, Princess Elara was often lonely, as her heart yearned for adventure beyond the walls of the castle. One fateful evening, as the sky painted itself in hues of orange and purple, a terrible roar echoed across the kingdom. A mighty dragon, larger than the tallest tower, swooped down from the mountains and carried Princess Elara away. The people of the kingdom trembled in fear, and King Aldric, his face ashen with dread, issued a proclamation.
Any brave soul who frees my daughter from the dragon's clutches shall be rewarded with riches beyond measure and a place in my court.
4 days, brave knights and warriors arrived, their swords gleaming and shields raised high, but none returned. The dragon's lair was deep in the heart of the dark mountains, and no one could survive the perilous journey. King Aldric's hope waned, his heart heavy with the thought of never seeing his daughter again. But in a humble village at the edge of the kingdom, a young boy named Kale heard the king's proclamation. Kale was the son of a shepherd, and while his hands were calloused from tending sheep, his heart was full of courage. He had no grand armor or mighty sword, only a sturdy staff, and an unshakable will to do what was right.
I will bring her back,
Kale vowed, and with nothing but the clothes on his back, he set out toward the dark mountains. The journey was treacherous. Kale crossed wild rivers, their waters swift and freezing, but he swam through, pushing forward. He scaled jagged cliffs that scraped his skin and bruised his limbs, but he never faltered. Along the way, he met strange creatures and endured fierce storms, but his mind remained fixed on one goal: to rescue Princess Elara. Finally, after many days and nights, Kale reached the dragon's lair. A vast cave surrounded by molten rock and swirling smoke. The dragon, a creature of terrifying power, lay curled around the princess in a deep slumber. Its scales shimmered like dark gemstones, and its breath was like the furnace of a blacksmith. Kale crept closer, heart pounding in his chest. He knew he couldn't fight the dragon with strength alone, so he called upon the one thing he had, his courage.
Dragon,
He called, his voice steady despite the fear in his heart.
I come not to fight, but to save her.
The dragon's eyes opened, glowing like two embers in the dark.
Foolish boy,
The dragon's voice rumbled, as deep as the earth itself.
do you think you can defeat me?
I do not wish to defeat you.
Kale said, his voice unwavering.
I seek only to return the princess to her people.
The dragon's laughter echoed through the cave, but then it grew silent. For a moment, it simply stared at Kale, as if weighing him with ancient eyes.
You have a brave heart, young shepherd,
The dragon said,
but bravery alone cannot save her. To free the princess, you must face the greatest of trials.
Kale nodded.
I will face whatever trial you set.
The dragon extended one of its massive claws, and a sudden, fierce wind swirled through the cave.
Then prove your worth, boy.
The dragon said,
Take this path and bring me what I desire most. My lost treasure, hidden deep within the mountains. Only then will I let the princess go.
Without hesitation, Kale agreed, and the dragon's great tail swept aside, revealing a dark passage. At last, after what felt like an eternity, Kale reached a chamber filled with golden light. In the center, atop a pedestal, was a radiant crystal, shining brighter than the stars. Kale knew instantly that this was the treasure the dragon sought. He took the crystal in his hand and returned to the dragon's lair, where the beast awaited, its eyes narrowing with anticipation.
I have brought what you sought.
Kale said, holding the crystal aloft.
Now, release the princess.
The dragon regarded the crystal, its gaze sore-funning for the first time.
You have proven your worth, young shepherd.
The dragon said, its voice no longer as menacing.
I shall keep my word.
With a flick of its tail, the dragon released Princess Elara from its grasp, and she stepped forward, her eyes wide with wonder.
Thank you, brave boy.
She said softly, her voice full of gratitude.
You saved me.
Kale smiled, though he was exhausted and wounded from his trials.
It was nothing. I just did what needed to be done.
The dragon, once fearsome and unyielding, lowered its head in respect.
Go then, return to your kingdom, little prince. Your heart is stronger than any weapon.
With Alara safe at his side, Kale began the long journey back. When they finally returned to the castle, the king and queen welcomed them with open arms, and the entire kingdom rejoiced. True to his word, King Aldrich offered Kale a place at the royal court, but Kale, ever humble, declined.
I am but a shepherd's son.
He said.
My place is with my people.
Years later, Kale would become a legend, his tale passed down through the generations, a story of bravery, kindness, and the strength of a heart unafraid to face the impossible. And as for Princess Alara, she never forgot the young boy who had saved her, and their friendship remained unbroken, a bond forged in the fires of courage and the promise of adventure.